Hey everyone, welcome back. So we're kicking off today with an image that's, well, it's pretty out there. Imagine this. You're walking through the supermarket, and right there, between the frozen peas and the organic salami, a dead body.
Yeah, it's quite the opener. And the author we're looking at, Stephen Pinkwart, he sort of ties this to the, let's say, morality of the Edeka marketing department, which is, a pretty bold claim right off the bat.
Absolutely. But that's kind of the whole point, isn't it? Pinkwart takes us on this brilliantly cynical tour of the modern supermarket experience.
He's using this really sharp, dark humor to dissect consumerism. And he doesn't shy away from connecting it all back to our own personal anxieties or neuroses. So it's about way more than just, expired yogurt.
Totally. We're talking about everything from those like artificial bakery smells they pump out to the emotional baggage we pile into our shopping carts.
And then he makes the surprising leap, connecting it all to performance, to self-expression, right there in the fluorescent glare of the produce aisle. Who knew there was so much drama lurking next to the tomatoes?
Right. Now, okay, some of his comparisons might feel a bit extreme, maybe even over the top for some listeners.
Sure, but that's what satire does, doesn't it? It exaggerates to really shine a light on the underlying truths, those anxieties, those longings we maybe can't even put a name to. So today, we're going to dig into what's really hiding behind these provocative images.
Okay, let's do it. So, the corpse among the peas. What are we supposed to make of that? He contrasts it with the fresh-off-the-grill chicken that suddenly everyone wants.
Well, the immediate thing is that stark indifference, isn't it? Indifference to this symbol of human suffering, the corpse, versus this, instant craving for something satisfying, the chicken.
And the smell is fake.
Exactly. That's the kicker. He calls it chicken sweat in spray form. This fake warmth, it's such a telling metaphor for the superficiality. We're drawn in by the facade, the simulation of something real.
And then there's that scene with the mother and the hungry kid. The kid's whining. The mom eyes the bread, checks the price, and moves on. Pinkwart drops this line. Supermarkets don't sell food. They sell memories of something you never had. But what does he mean by that?
Well, think about it. You buy that perfect-looking loaf of bread. Maybe subconsciously you're connecting it to some idealized image of, cozy family breakfast from childhood.
That maybe never actually happened like that.
Precisely. He's playing on our yearning for this perfect past, for a feeling of comfort or wholeness that, let's be honest, the supermarket reality can't actually deliver. So we're not just buying bread, we're buying an illusion.
The feeling.
Okay, that's kind of bleak, but also rings true somehow. Then the shopping cart, Pinkwart calls it a stroller for your guilty conscience, and also a coffin.
Heavy stuff. And then he lists those typical items. Organic cucumbers for the image, right? Chips, the guilty pleasure truth. Condoms, hope springs eternal. Lube, maybe the sadder reality. And chocolate for the frustration. Each one a confession. The barcode, a tattoo of your repression. Isn't that laying it on a bit thick?
Maybe. But is there not a kernel of truth there? I mean, our shopping carts are often a weird reflection of our inner conflicts, aren't they? We want to be healthy, the cucumber, but we give in to cravings, the chips.
Yeah, or we have these desires, the condoms and lube, but maybe what's really missing is intimacy, so we reach for the chocolate instead.
Exactly. Pinkwart pushes it to the extreme, but he's pointing at something real. Our buying habits often aren't rational. They're driven by these unmet needs, these anxieties we're trying to soothe or maybe ignore.
And the peak of this critique, we don't go shopping because we need things, but to save yourself. Save yourself from the empty fridge, from your existence that feels like an old receipt. Faded, crumpled, meaningless. Wow, that's dark.
But isn't that feeling of emptiness, that sense of routine feeling, well, meaningless, something many people can relate to? The daily grind, feeling like that old receipt.
Yeah, I suppose so.
So the supermarket becomes this temporary escape hatch, a place where buying things gives us a fleeting sense of control or pleasure, even if it, doesn't last.
Then Pinkwart calls us out for being suckers for supermarket perfume. These smells are pure laboratory work, he says. What we smell isn't random. What we think we want is actually a command wrapped in vanilla or oven scents. How insidious is that?
Oh, it's deeply insidious, because these scents bypass our rational brain, right? They go straight for the emotions. Vanilla suggests comfort, hominess. Fresh bread smell taps into something primal.
It's not just about smelling nice.
Not at all. It's sophisticated psychological manipulation. They're hijacking our subconscious longings to trigger a buying impulse. It's about creating an emotional state.
And then comes that line that just floors you. You think you want pizza, but in truth, you just want someone to hug you who'll never come back.
Oof.
connecting junk food cravings to deep-seated heartbreak.
And that right there is the core of his critique of consumerism. So many of our material desires are just substitutes, stand-ins for deeper emotional needs.
The pizza is comfort for loneliness.
Right. Or the big new TV is maybe compensating for a lack of recognition elsewhere. Pinkwart just draws that painful line directly between what we buy and what we truly crave but aren't getting.
And for anyone thinking this is nonsense, Pinkwart says, just go to a supermarket on a Saturday evening, it's doomsday atmosphere, and you see people fighting over the last rosemary potatoes like it's a custody battle of their souls.
Yeah.
It's hilariously absurd, but also disturbingly accurate, isn't it?
It really is.
That exaggeration just perfectly captures the irrational intensity we sometimes bring to consumerism.
Yeah.
That ridiculous fight over potatoes becomes this microcosm of all our compacted fears and desires colliding in aisle 5.
Okay, now for the unexpected turn. The supermarket becomes a stage. Suddenly it's about our scripts, our fear of judgment. And that comparison with the supermarket chicken is just brilliantly cynical. The chicken is already dead, you're just pretending. What's he getting at there? Well, I think Pinkwart sees our everyday interactions, even just shopping, as a kind of performance. We're playing roles, right? Trying to project a certain image, even while we're wrestling with our own insecurities inside.
So the dead chicken is the facade.
Yeah, maybe it symbolizes that front we put up. We act like we've got it all together, even when internally we might feel, hollowed out, empty, like the prepped chicken.
We're on that stage, hoping our lines land, hoping nobody laughs.
Yeah.
But then comes the insight. In the moment of real performance, none of that other stuff matters. No phone, no ratings, no script.
Not even the ex watching from the back row, as he puts it. It's just you and the moment, the connection with the audience. That's liberating, isn't it?
Totally.
And that authentic moment of expression, that's where we can potentially shed all those external pressures and internal critics. It's about pure presence, that raw connection. That's the core of what he means by performance. It's a radical act of self-exposure.
And this is where flow comes in. But for Pinkwart, flow isn't some blissful state. It's rebellion. We need it not just to survive on stage, but to blow it up.
Right. It's active. It's disruptive.
And how do we get this flow? By mentally undressing. No more vague stories about a tough childhood. He wants specifics like, my mom stole the hotel on Boardwalk in Monopoly, and that was the last moment I understood love. The more specific, and maybe even painful, the more real it is.
That unflinching honesty, that's the key. The audience can feel it when we're hiding or being evasive. Vulnerability, revealing those deep fears or embarrassing moments, that creates an authenticity that just grabs people.
And the trembling he mentions.
Yeah, he says the trembling isn't weakness, it's proof of authenticity. It shows you're actually putting something real on the line.
We should speak like it's our last chance. Like God said, one more piece, then I delete the internet. Would we still read our shopping list? Or would we blurt out something like, I bought a chocolate-flavored condom last week just so something would kiss me again? The answer seems obvious, right?
Yeah.
Just pure, raw honesty.
That directness, that willingness to break taboos, that raw emotion, those are the things that make a performance unforgettable. It's about forging that deep emotional connection, hitting the audience right where they live.
And then, a surprising but crucial point, shut up.
Yeah.
Sometimes, let the silence hang there. Not every line needs an exclamation point.
Yes, that example he gives is powerful. And then she left me with the shopping cart. And my damn heart between the bananas.
Those pauses.
They let it sink in.
Exactly. The silence becomes this incredibly potent tool. It gives the audience space to process, to feel the weight of the words. It's in that quiet that the unspoken stuff, what's truly rotting, as he puts it, can really resonate.
So finally, the call to arms. So still buying chips or finally ready to go off. Flow isn't just something that happens to you. It's a decision you have to keep making with your body, your words, your anger, your truth.
It's an ongoing choice. And for anyone who wants to learn how to detonate their own personal stage, Pinkwart offers the Poetry Master, promising no bullshit, no rules, just tools for nuclear self-exposure, flow techniques that actually work, and examples that hurt. Sounds intense, but maybe effective.
It sounds like it's about pushing past the comfort zone, embracing that authentic expression, however messy it might be. The Poetry Master seems positioned as this guide to channeling that inner rage, that truth, into something powerful.
And the ultimate goal, to never look at a supermarket the same way again, to start questioning why the apple's in plastic but your rage isn't.
That's a fantastic line.
For anyone intrigued, we'll put the links to the Poetry Master. Looks like there are German and English versions in the show notes. And Pincourt's final mic drop advice if anyone asks about your newfound intensity.
Let's just say, I performed with the Poetry Master and started with a corpse in aisle 7.
Huh. It's a perfectly provocative ending, isn't it? Tying that bizarre supermarket image back to the explosive potential of just being authentically yourself.
Absolutely.
Okay, so wrapping this up for today. Stephen Pincourt took us on a pretty wild ride through the consumer hellscape of the supermarket, but then unexpectedly shoved us onto the stage of our own lives. It's this weird, potent mix of social critique and a call for self-expression.
Yeah, he's challenging us to look beyond the shiny surfaces of everyday life, to confront those uncomfortable truths within ourselves and our culture. And he shows how even in the most mundane settings, like pushing a cart down an aisle, there's this surprising potential for raw, authentic expression, maybe even, as he says, rebellion.
So a final thought to leave you all with today, inspired by Pincourt. Think about your own shopping cart, literally or metaphorically. What confessions might be hiding in there, and what rage, what unspoken truth might be simmering just beneath the surface, waiting to be let out.
Maybe reflect on the artificiality you encounter daily. Are you really buying what you need, or just chasing manufactured desires, those memories of something you never had?
Definitely something to chew on. And if you want to dive deeper into unleashing that authentic voice, check out the book, Poetry Master, Poesycraft, and 7 Tagen. Or its English equivalent, if available. It sounds like quite the experience. Thanks for tuning into this deep dive, everyone.
Yeah, thanks all. See you next time.